Welcome to the Leslie Hawkins podcast. Each week, my guests and I discuss one pivotal moment in their life, what they learned from it, and their words of wisdom. He built an apparel business from the ground up. The business was booming, new partners joined the venture, and success felt endless. He was on top of the world. Until the partnership collapsed, everything fell apart, and the business shut down. But his story doesn't end there. He got back up and decided to start a business in an industry that was teeming with competition. But surrounded by a community that believed in him, he slowly took his small idea into a multi-million-dollar brand that's now sold across Canada. This episode is about determination, reinvention, and believing in yourself enough to risk it all. Welcome to the Leslie Hawkins podcast. I'm so glad that you are joining us here today. Today's guest is Geoff Tait. He is the founder and president of Triple Bogey Brewing Company, which is a family-owned and operated brewery, and they are Canadian in the beer and liquor industry. He is also the former partner of Quagmire Golf. And one of the things that you will learn from this podcast is Geoff is the most grateful but incredibly humble person that you will ever meet, and a marketing genius. Now, my background is originally in marketing, and so I don't hold that title lightly for you, but we're going to talk quite a bit about your whole journey and your prowess in marketing, because I think it's quite incredible. So, Geoff, you and I have known each other, decades. We're going to just go with decades. Yep. And I've been always admiring you of how you have managed to build this business. And I know we will get into the conversation, but I also know that you're incredibly busy. So thank you. I appreciate you being here.
Happy to be here.
It's
Thanks
awesome
for having me. Yeah.
Yes, a good conversation.
I don't know if I need to be here anymore after that introduction. I can't get any better than that. I appreciate
Peace
you
out,
saying all that. Yeah.
So this podcast is all built on one question, which is, what is one pivotal moment in your life? And the reason I chose that question was because, first of all, I know that everybody has multiple pivotal moments in their life, and some are within their control and some are not. And it can be that when you're in that moment, that it's overwhelming, that it's a lot. And you think, oh, I'm the only person who's ever gone through this. When in actual fact, I think once you start talking to other people, you find out that in actual fact, other people have gone through it, and your story may be slightly different, but that you're not alone in the journey. So that's why I chose that question. So cool. Let me ask you, Geoff, what is one pivotal moment in your life?
Yeah, and I totally agree. And I appreciate you having me on here. There is a lot of pivotal moments in everybody's lives. And I think once you're in those moments, you do feel alone and you feel like it's the end of the world. But I think I would say, I'll take you back. I'll give you a little rundown on what I've done and you know how it all started, and then I can kind of hit the pivotal moment in the middle. But so I've always been in golf. I've been in the golf world for years. I worked at St. Thomas Golf Club. I worked at Red Tail. I taught golf on the cruise ships. I did a bunch of fun stuff in the golf world, and then when I kind of stepped out of golf and I went I went to university in Australia, and then I worked down in Venezuela, and I did a bunch of different things, and then I started a company called Quagmire Golf, and I thought that was going to be my life career, and that's how you and I met.
Yes.
It was awesome. We were ahead of our time, kind of. We were ahead of like the big boys of the world that were kind of still making the older men, women golf course clothing and stuff. So we made some young, funky golf clothing. Everybody thought we were crazy, and the colors were good and cool and fun, and it worked. And we had that company from 2008 to, actually before that, 2005 to 2012. And I had a business partner, and then I had a couple more business partners. We grew, and it expanded, and I needed to kind of bring in other people to kind of help do what we were doing. And it was great. We had a great relationships, and we had a great run, and we were, we were building a pretty cool business. We
Yeah.
were young. We were having fun. We were, traveling the world and partying with, the likes of Jay-Z and all these guys. Like, it was crazy. Like, for some reason, we were kind of living the life, in the U.S. and in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
driving the sports cars and having a great time. Not necessarily saving much money, which I look back and I think maybe we should have saved a bit of dough along the way.
You never
right?
do
But
when you're younger, right?
no,
You're invincible.
We were
Yeah.
doing what we were doing. It was
Right.
never going to end, right? So from there, I actually got a phone call from IMG, the Arnold Palmer's people, and they asked if we would be interested in revamping Arnold Palmer's clothing for North America and making it younger and cooler because they've been watching what we were doing. So that was like,
So
it was
good.
it was an email and then a phone call, and I thought it was a prank. Like, I was like, what the hell's
Yeah.
going on? Who's calling me for this stuff, right? So
I mean, he's the king.
yeah, he is the king, and he was the king.
Yeah.
And he was incredible to work with and all that. But anyway, so went down and we met with him and his family and his people, and we had a great run with him, and we were selling to Macy's and Nordstrom's and all these big department stores and Golf Galaxy and Dick's, and it was fantastic. And now we were really on top of the world. We're hanging with Arnold Palmer. We're going to Augusta with him. We're hanging with him and Jack, and where Tiger was around, and it was like, this is cool. This is cool
Yeah.
shit, right? So
Really.
anyway, long story long, we got into some business partner issues, and sadly, because we were all getting along really well, and it was just some financial stuff that kind of took it all down. But the end result was basically that company, which was millions of dollars in revenue.
Yeah.
It kind of went. Just imploded. So we still all own the shares, but nobody wanted to work together, and it was just like a big battle in between. And you hear that all the time about business partners, and you never think it's going to be you. And this is where the pivotal moment kind of started. And sorry, I didn't answer your question directly, but
It's
I
all good.
just thought I'd give you a little background.
Yeah, no, the
on
background's
that,
really relevant. Yeah.
So, and that was the short version. I could have gave you a few more notes on all that stuff, but we're not going to get into the details of those big crazy nights. Anyway. So everything kind of went down, and I couldn't imagine that it was happening. I couldn't believe that this was actually happening. I was driving the BMW. My wife and I were planning to have a baby right away, and we were, just planning for our future.
Yeah.
And we had a few conversations with a couple of the partners, and no, nobody was gonna back down, and we were gonna have to close down. And I had a $750,000 PO on my desk for JCPenney,
Oof.
which was kind of part of the Arnold Palmer stuff too. And I walked out of my office, and I shut the light off, and obviously I had a tear in my eye, and I just couldn't believe that I was leaving all of that.
Yeah.
And there was nothing I could do about it, because it was just like, this is the end of the road. And this is something that I built out of the back of my car. This was all my idea. This was like all my blood, sweat, and tears. And then I brought on these business partners who to this day we're still friends, but we kind of amended it, and we made it. We're adults. We're human beings, and we don't hold grudges, and you never know what's going to happen in the future. So anyway, we did that. I came home, and I laid down on the floor and started to cry with my wife, and I just said, I just lost my own business. I don't know how this happened, but I just lost what I started, and I've got nothing now, because again, going back to those crazy nights, we didn't save much money along the way. So we were living in a little apartment down in the beaches, and we were just not sure what we were going to do. So I kind of got into the booze, and I got really, really depressed. I didn't know how to restart. I didn't know what I was, capable of doing. I didn't think I could ever do anything again, to be honest. And I applied for a few jobs, and this is kind of where the pivotal moment comes in. It was just like, I looked, and I got offered a couple jobs in the golf world and outside the golf world. And my wife said to me one day, when I was just at the lowest of my low, she said, get your ass up and do something. And I did. and I went and taught at Durham College. I started making a bit of money doing that, and from there I made a business plan for Triple Bogey, and that was the pivotal moment. That was the rest was history. I restarted, and everybody's like, "Wow, you started two companies out of the back of your car," and this one's now a multi-million-dollar company, and it's 10 times bigger than what we had with Quagmire. But it was a restart. It was a complete restart, and I had to pull myself away from the bottle. I had to figure out how to fight my depression and my anxiety, and kind of make my life whole again. And people don't realize that, how hard that really is. That life goes on. When you lose someone in your family, life goes on, and that's what people don't understand, is how hard it is to kind of pull yourself back out of that hole and try to get back out there. So I told my buddies about my idea. To be honest with you, they laughed at me. Tyler Keenan and Chris Tamas. They were sitting at a bar with them, and they laughed. They said, "You know what, man? If that's crazy, you're going to go up against some giant corporation." Yeah, and then they're the ones that kind of were taking on the golf world. And I said, "No, I'm going to do this. That's my only choice. I don't have any other choice in order to feed my family and to keep going on." I could have taken a job or two, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't have that in me. I needed to kind of restart and prove myself again. And we've done it, and we've sold more beer and drinks than we've ever sold shirts. And I've really learned a bunch of lessons from all of that. And you can restart, and you can do it all over again. And life is what you make of it. That was the biggest moment of my life, and now I've never been happier. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good answer to the question.
Probably a little longer than you expected.
No, that's great. No, because it gives the context, right, of where you were. So when you're curled up in a ball and your wife says, "Okay, come on, let's go," would corporate not have been that would have been the easier one, because then you automatically get the paycheck every 2 weeks and all of that. So why not that?
Yeah, and I did, and I almost said yes to one of those jobs, and that job would have been great. And I'm not taking anything away from that that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And yes, I just don't know. Ever since I was 16, I was my buddy and we were making hats at home, watching Baywatch, and selling them out of our high school lockers. Yeah. And I've just never really had the desire to go and work for anybody. Not that I wouldn't, but I've just always enjoyed kind of the freedom. But with the freedom comes a lot of responsibility, a lot of hard work, and a lot of years where you don't make any money.
Right.
So we went back to the beginning, but my wife, Megan, she's always believed in me. And we went back to the beginning and started Triple Bogey again from nothing. And it took 3 or 4 years of just being able to pay rent and and putting all of our money back into the company. So good. Where I could have taken that $80,000 job.
You're comfortable,
but it took me 4 or 5 years to make that $80,000 in Triple Bogey, right? But to be honest with you, I don't know why. Maybe because I'm crazy, and maybe because I have to prove to somebody. I don't know who I'm trying to prove it to, but I love that stuff, and I love the challenge, and I love.
You were an entrepreneur at heart.
I am, and I love it, and
so good.
It's fun.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I agree with Chris and Tyler, both of whom I know.
Yep.
I mean, choosing to go into the beer and spirits industry. Why there?
I think, well, maybe it was because I was drinking a lot in between. But I've always been a beer guy. I actually wanted to, with Quagmire, and I'm so happy that I didn't. I wanted to branch Quagmire into the beer business when I had that, and I didn't tell anybody that idea. I literally just told my wife, and I was like, "Oh, it'd be cool to have a Quagmire beer, or something that was kind of tagged along with it, because we have that audience and." We're already selling to the pro shop. Why not sell to the food and beverage at the golf club?
For sure.
And I'm so glad that I didn't open my mouth
Mm-hmm.
that day, and I just kept it to myself because
Yeah.
that was so. I always kind of had that as the next step from
Okay.
clothing, but everybody always says I'm crazy anyway because clothing is just as hard as selling
Yeah,
booze. Like
it
it's
is
like
hard.
these are two businesses that, and not to say any business is easy, but these are two businesses that are like cutthroat, and
Yeah.
there's so much competition,
Yeah.
and there's so little margin. It's crazy. But
Mm-hmm.
when you get up into selling millions and millions of cans, and there's a bit of money
Then
to
it
be
makes
made
sense.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I just always loved beer.
Yeah.
I was always a lager drinker, and that's what we make.
Yes.
We make lagers. We make beer that everybody can drink, and then now we're making the cocktails and stuff that
cocktails.
are taking off. So.
Right. Okay. So you, I mean, in order to start a brewery, you don't have a brewery. Like, how do you
No.
actually
So we don't
get it
we don't have a
started?
brewery right now either, to
Okay.
be honest. So I went around and I was again with my tail between my legs trying to figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
I went to 10 different breweries. I said, can I rent some space in your brewery or can
Yeah.
I do this? Because I didn't have the capital, nor did I want to, nor that I didn't want to. I just didn't have access to it at that time.
Okay.
And I got a million no's and I finally got one yes at a place down in Toronto called Great Lakes Brewery.
Yeah.
And they actually
Hey,
helped.
Troy.
And-
Yeah.
yeah, and they helped and they got us going. So they were great.
Okay.
And Troy was great and Peter was great and everybody was they looked after us very well. The issue there was they had their own brands and they
Absolutely.
had their own beer and they had their own agenda and they had their own, they needed to make sure that their brand was covered. So we kind of outgrew the space that they had for us. Not that they're not big, but
Yep.
they needed their space for themselves. And I had some buddies that opened up a place down in London. We grew up in St. Thomas, so
Yes.
I knew them from the old Red Tail days. And they said,
Mhm.
if we build this place, would you come and work with us? And I said, yep, I'll come
That's
down
great.
if we can. And parted ways with Peter. We still see each other at the LCBO golf tournament and whatever, and we shake hands and hug and whatever. And he's got his business, I got mine. But these guys are good. They got plenty of space.
Yes.
They're great to work with as partners and stuff. And we can continue to grow and keep on rocking.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So when you started well, first of all, where did the name Triple Bogey come from? I mean, as a golfer, it's what you don't want.
Yeah,
but we have
That
often.
was kind of the idea. That was the idea. I mean, Quagmire was the same thing. Quagmire was the shit. Was the long grass. And our slogan at Quagmire was not fit for the fairway. So we didn't want to. I've never been typical, and there's nothing wrong with typical golf people. But
Yes.
I've never been a typical tuck your shirt in where you're
Right.
Even at the golf course, Dan Campbell at St. Thomas Golf Club, he would kind of let me do what I wanted to do because he knew I was a good worker, but he didn't give a shit if I had my shirt tucked in necessarily because
Right.
he knew that that's not
not you.
how it was going to be and make me comfortable. So Triple Bogey was just like, I don't know, like you just think about, I'm like, oh, cool, let's just call it Triple Bogey. And we came up with the cool logo that's like a +3,
Yes.
but it's also a T and a B. And so the logo helped with the name and we
Right.
just kind of went from there. But I just thought, yeah, you know what, this is for the everyday average golfer that it's not birdie, it's not,
Yes.
hole in one, it's not any of that shit. It's like, let's go out with you and your husband and let's go shoot some triple bogeys and drink some
Right,
triple
and have
bogeys,
some
right?
fun.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that's kind of the whole point of it. And I
Yes.
needed that in my life, to be honest.
Yes.
I needed that at that point. I was like, okay, let's just go make something fun and refreshing. And if it works, then it works. If it doesn't,
Then so be it.
yeah. So
Okay. And what did so you started Triple Bogey, but you always marketed it to the golf industry. And yes, I mean I understand that is your background, but why pick such a niche?
I think, well, when my buddies were laughing at me, they were laughing at me because I think they probably thought I was going to go right into the mainstream of it and try to compete against those guys, and that's impossible with the marketing money that they
Yes.
have and the kind of the hold that they have on bars and restaurants and all that stuff. It would be terribly hard to do. I just thought it was a cool niche, and if I could build it to be another $2 or $3 million company and just sell to the golf courses, then I could have a good life out of it, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to sell $50 million worth to
Right.
be able to live and survive and live
Yes.
the life that you want. And yes, I had the contacts, and I was trying to think, what can I do and utilize. Everybody utilizes what they've done in the past, or you should
Mhm.
be. If you're not, you should be, unless you burn those bridges. And I didn't burn any bridges along the way. I
Not
hope
at all.
anyway. So so I just thought, you know what, let's do this. Golf needs its own beer. Nobody's ever done it before. There's 10 of them now behind me, but that's okay. We're 10 years ahead of them.
Yes.
And we just thought, if it kind of turns into something more than that, then fine. If it doesn't, then that's cool. And it took until about 3 years ago for it to actually turn into something more than that. Like, we had
Okay.
a $5 million business at just selling beer, mainly to golf courses, a little bit at the LCBO and retail and stuff like that.
Okay.
But to be honest with you, as soon as we started making these delicious purple drinks, this transfusion, that's what took off, and that's
Right.
what's made us mainstream. So now I have like university kids like posting pictures, holding transfusions, and people
Yes.
actually think the company's called Transfusion and all of this
Mhm.
stuff. And I'm okay, call it whatever the hell you want,
Yes.
right? I'm just like, but now that's kind of switched, and they don't even equate it to golf, which is like 60% of them don't even equate it to golf or
Okay.
whatever. So we've been able to snowball that into that, but that's also why we've been able to kind of have such success in the growth over the last 3 years. And now all of a sudden it's like, whoa, these are real numbers, and we're doing real numbers at retail, to the point where we're top 10 at the LCBO as a single can, and it
It's
had nothing to do with golf, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's the beauty of it. So we got lucky, but it's also, as you say, marketing, and make
It
sure
is
that it's kind
marketing.
of, and we kind of took a little bit of the golfy stuff away from the can a little bit, but still our main focus is that, and everybody's golfing these days. So
Yes.
cool. It kind of goes across, and it's all of a sudden golf school again. So
It is. I
yeah,
know. It is the one industry that the pandemic was the best thing for the golf industry.
for
It's been
sure.
crazy, actually.
Like the Tiger Woods years, right? When Tiger
Exactly.
just made everybody want to golf.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's been really good. So one of the things that you're really good at is marketing. And for all the times that I would see you at events and at media events, you'd be out there slogging cans, showing up at people's houses, just always going the extra mile. So is marketing your background, or is it just that you've always been creative?
Yeah, and just for the record, I don't just show up at people's houses. Just don't come unless I'm invited. But
Okay, you're right.
Anyway, yeah, well, I love marketing. I don't know. I don't even think about it as marketing. Like, the first thing that I bought I made when I started Triple Bogey without thinking was 3,000 exploding triple bogey golf balls, and my buddies are all like, "What are you doing now? Like, you're supposed to be trying to you're supposed to be building this, put up a billboard or do something like that." And we're out there buying exploding golf balls, and it's just like, or making them, and I love marketing. Yes, I don't even think about it as marketing. I just think about it as, what do you have to do to get your brand off the ground, and how do you keep people interested in it, and stuff like that. For the most part, up until 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I hired a guy named Steve Woods to do our Instagram, because people said, "We love your Instagram," but it was mainly just me, sitting on the front porch drinking beer and just posting whatever was in my thing. But I would capture I would capture people's hearts, to be honest. And that's
Yes.
kind of, I've always kind of done stuff like that, LinkedIn and whatever. But I actually think it's more speaking from the heart and doing what I believe, rather than even saying that it's marketing. It's just
Okay.
like, this is what I believe for my brand, and I believe in my brand, and this is what's cool about, and this is how we can do it. And we could be putting millions into marketing and doing different things, but we've been able to kind of do it grassroots.
Yes.
And it is about going to events, getting drinks down people's throats,
Yep.
and making their events better and more fun, and helping. All of these golf courses are trying to do all of these things, but why not help them actually, make their things that they're doing better? And that's what we take pride in. It's like, you send us stuff from your golf course, and we'll post it on ours, or we'll make it, change it, we'll make it better. Send us pictures of the cart girls doing things, and they get excited about actually selling our drinks. And
Yes.
it's just simple things. It's just amazing that, the other guys are like, oh, we got to do these grandiose things. And you know what it's like
Yes.
from where you've come from and with Adidas and stuff, that if you have the money, spend it, right? But it's like, we don't need to spend the money.
Yeah.
And it's, we could, maybe that would take us to a even giant level, but then my blood pressure would be up through the roof. So I think we're pretty good where we are right now.
You will stay where it is now.
Yeah.
So when you said, okay, I'm going to start Triple Bogey, and like if you're to start a business today, people are like, okay, well, I need to show up on LinkedIn, and I need to show up on all these socials, and I need to have a website, and I need to have a office, and I need. And yet that wasn't how you started. Like, what was the very first thing you did to start Triple Bogey?
Well, after I bought those exploding golf balls.
Exactly. Yes.
No, I mean, we built a beer, and I put a sticker on a can of beer, and I took it to I think probably Dan was one of my first customers, again, going back to your roots, and like guys like Greg at Red Tail and the folks at Angus Glen and all that stuff. And I said, look, guys, I used to sell you shirts. This is what I'm selling you now. And everybody's like, okay, you used to give us good service. We love who you are and what you do. They're like, we'll give it a try. And then I just kind of snuck my way in the back door kind of thing.
Yes.
And then the rest followed. So we built a website, but the website was just useless. It wasn't like, we didn't have much going on there. And then since then we've like, yes, we have an online store, and we sell some shirts and golf bags and all that stuff. But yeah, it was more of a, let's see if this will work, see if anybody's interested in it. And then, but I did everything. My wife quit her job after about a year and a half of this going on. So she came on board.
Wow.
And so now we're like all in, completely in. And we literally, the two of us, I would drive my little mail truck. I bought one of those little postal mail trucks, like just a tiny little thing. And I would drive around in that, and she'd drive around in the whatever we had, Nissan that we traded from the BMW, and she would just go and deliver as well, or she'd go do the LCBO samplings, or she would go and do whatever, and then I would be out delivering to our 10, 20 golf courses to start with. And then as we grew, we would, kind of brought on another guy, and then we went from like $300,000 in sales the first year to $1 million the second year, and I was like, okay, I think we got something there.
Maybe,
So it was pretty neat to see that growth, and that's why my wife could kind of step away from her other job. We're still not making money. We're putting it all back in, but we needed more bodies, and we figured we might as well keep it in the family. And we did that, and the rest follows, like LinkedIn and all that stuff. It's amazing how powerful that stuff is.
Yes.
And I cannot tell you how many times I'll meet somebody and they'll be like, I know everything about you. I'm like, ooh, okay. But it's because of the shit that I put on LinkedIn. Not shit, but stuff that I put on LinkedIn. And they're like, we really love what you do. It's amazing how you speak from the heart, and you're actually, and we believe it. And you're not like trying to, be somebody else and trying to, whatever. It is amazing how many people actually read that stuff and actually care about, and they can actually, put it towards their life and say, you've really helped me do this and this and this. And it's like, okay, I didn't even know I was doing that, but I was just, and genuinely, I'm not trying to do that. Yeah, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just kind of telling my story because nobody else is listening to me at home. They're all either on their iPads or whatever. So it's all good.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, but I think everything that you do post, though, is so authentic. Yes, you're talking about Triple Bogey, but you can tell like family is so ingrained in who you are. And there's not one post that is AI generated. It is 100% you. And I think there's a humbleness, there's an authenticity to it that
Thank you.
is so refreshing.
Thank you. I don't even know what AI is, to be honest with you. So I'm just like,
it's something the kids use. We're good.
Maybe my 8-year-old son will teach me at one point. But everything that I do is for my family. And it always has been. I think that's another reason why I didn't take that corporate job back in the day. And again, nothing wrong with the corporate job. But the fact that I get to, my kids are 8 and 4, and if anybody's following me knows everything about my kids and how much I love them, and they're the purpose to my whole life, and my wife too. But they're why I do what I do, and that's why I work so hard. But now we've gotten to the point where it's like I can walk my kids to school every
Mm.
day, and if I need to, I can pick them up from school
Yeah.
every day, and I can bring my son back to the office, and he loves coming to the office. He plays basketball in the office, and he sits on his beanbag chair and eats candy. Don't tell his mother. But he loves that too because he's
Yeah.
part of the business, and he's part of the family business that we're really running here. And yeah, everything I do is for them. And I, again, back to the corporate job, I couldn't necessarily do that if I
No.
had to be at work by 7 and I had to do this and this. And recently I've been actually, because my wife's father passed away, which has been really, really tough on our
Mm.
whole family. And it's a terrible, terrible thing when somebody passes away, as you know,
Yes. Yes.
and it's just, it changes your life forever. And it really kind of clicked with me that I need to kind of, not that he was in bad shape, it was just, health stuff and whatever, but it was just like, I need to, if I want to be around for a long time for my family, I need
Yes.
to make some changes. And I've done that lately. And if I had that corporate job too, I don't think that I would be able to actually,
Yeah.
I've lost 25 pounds just from walking every morning after I drop the kids, or I get up at 5 and do all that stuff. And
So
or now I'm
good.
running and doing that. But that's also, completely controlled my anxiety and
Mm.
it's kind of wiped out the depression and I say depression. Everybody has it. It
Yep.
kind of creeps into everybody's life. And I think exercise and not even, I'm not saying you got to go to the gym and you got to go do all this stuff. I think it's just changed the way that I look at everything in life and how I feel every day. And it kind of gets pushed onto the way that I treat my family and how I'm
Yes.
running my business and how I'm doing all this stuff. And I think that's, I was going to answer your second question probably in that, and then say that what advice can I give? That's the advice that I
Yeah.
would give.
That is definitely.
Yeah.
So through this whole journey from quagmire to triple bogey and the dip between the two, what have you learned about yourself?
I learned that I can't give up, and I have no choice in life there's no time to feel sorry for yourself and to kind
Mm-hmm.
of lay on that carpet. I can honestly say at one point in triple bogey, I was laying on the carpet again because I
Mm-hmm.
was $500,000 in debt, and this was 4 or 5 years ago. And I was like, what the hell have I got myself into?
Yeah.
Everything was good, but you have to put so much money into
Yeah.
a liquor company or a beer
I
company
can
or any
only
company.
imagine. Yeah.
And I was just like, how the fuck are we going to, kind of pull out of this? Because I was trying to grow, but at the same time, I've always been cautious when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to business, like spending money. But at the same time, in order to grow, you need to kind of do that
Invest.
when
Yeah.
you can. And so I learned, and so I got off the ground a lot quicker than I did the first time, and said, look, I got no choice in this. I got to keep going. And so I've learned that you just have to, one, never give up. Two, always believe in yourself. Surround yourself with great people. I have a great team. Charles is my VP of sales, and he kind of runs the operations guy,
Mm-hmm.
and he's the nicest guy in the world. He's the hardest working guy in the world, and I've surrounded myself with great people like him, and the people at Equals that make the beer for us, and Ian, our LCBO guy, and our retail guy. Like, it's amazing the people that, if you surround yourself with great
Yeah.
people, then that's kind of what I've learned is you cut out the fat and just be with people that believe in you, believe in the
Yes.
business, believe in everything, and have the same values as you. That's what I've learned, that you need to surround yourself with people like that
Absolutely.
in business and in life. So.
Yes. And they also need to have a good sense of humor, because I do believe that April 1st might be your favorite day of the
Well,
year.
that's the greatest holiday of the year. Yeah, but everybody's on to me now. For the first few years, I could get away with it, but now it's like, this guy. And I've still got a few people last year, but
Yeah.
the one year where I said that we ran out of grapes, and the year before that, because we couldn't make any more grape transfusions,
Right.
and the year before that, I said we were closing down, and we got a lot of Charles, speaking of Charles,
Yes.
he's fielding phone calls going, why are you guys closing down? Like everybody believed
Was
this thing,
yeah,
right?
it was
just
legit.
like,
Yeah.
okay.
It was so
and he's like,
believable.
please don't do that again, because now I got a lot of explaining to do and you're causing me more grief in my job, right?
Right.
So anyway, it is one of my favorites, but
Yes.
I'm kind of running out of material, so I
Yeah.
might have to sit and talk to your husband, Mark, or something. He looks like he's got a few tricks up his sleeve, but
Exactly.
but yeah, it's just fun. You have to
That's
have fun
good.
in life.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to also teach that to my kid, and my kid's now, like, the other day he went and ghosted his buddy Logan, which means you drop a bag of candy on their front doorstep and then sneak around the corner like you weren't there, and then you write a funny note and nobody knows who it was, right? And I'm just like, wow, I love you for that, son. Like,
Go
good
for it.
you, man.
Keep doing it.
So
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of how you should live your life.
Yeah, most definitely.
For sure.
That's amazing. All right. Any final words of wisdom for our audience today?
Yeah, I think I already gave it. I mean, that's what I was saying. But as far as, like, I wish I knew what, and I'm not going back to, I'm not saying go to the gym. I'm not saying you need to go and get a membership or you need to do all this stuff. You need to be active. You need to literally take time for yourself, for your sanity, for your anxiety, for your well-being, and I've been walking, running, whatever, I do it for an hour and a half. I do 10K every day. I've done it for 335 days. I'm trying to do a year out of it, and then I'll continue to do it, but might do something different. And it's not just about the weight that I've lost. It's actually about the anxiety and pressure and the reality of, like, I went to Calgary for a golf show the other day, and I was there for a few days, and I actually got to see the city of Calgary. I've never done that before, because I would always wake up hungover, barely making it to the show, and then I'd talk and I'd do whatever, and then I'd go out for more drinks, and then I'd go sit in the hot tub for a little while or whatever, and then go to bed, and then do it all over again. Where this actually got me out of bed, gets me out of bed every day, and makes me accountable for my life every day. Something that I've never done before, because I've always been so busy, and everybody's so busy. But if you can actually take accountability and say, okay, I'm going to go do this for half an hour every day, or whatever you can manage to fit into your life, I really think that you look at every day differently than just scrambling through life and taking the kids to school, and then doing this and off there, and then eating a shit lunch, and then doing this, and then making dinner and putting the kids to bed or whatever. Your life will go by in a blur. And I think that everybody needs to kind of step back, because we're not living forever, folks. And we need to kind of, realize that this is one life to live, as Chris Tamas and I always say, and you need to make sure that you're living your best life. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you are definitely living your best life.
Well, thank you.
And so, I mean, it's been amazing. I used to own some Quagmire. I had
You don't have it anymore?
I don't have it anymore. I know. Well, then I worked for a different brand, and then my entire wardrobe had to change, right?
Yeah.
But it's been amazing to watch everything that you have accomplished. Quagmire was great. I'm sorry to see that go, but what you've managed to do with Triple Bogey is amazing. I mean, you really should be writing a book about grassroots marketing and how well it works, and that it's not about the $1 million marketing budgets. You can actually make every dollar go so far. And the golf industry has really surrounded you and being so supportive of you, because who you are is so authentic, so humble. And despite all of your success, you're just Geoff Tait. And that's been amazing. So keep it up. And we will continue to support Triple Bogey forever and always. And we'll continue to watch as you continue to grow this business. And it's family owned, and it's Canadian run, and that matters. It really matters. So congratulations for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. And we are 100% going to be cheering for you.
Wow, thank you very much. And thank you for everybody out there that's actually, you say the golf world has surrounded us, and we really feel that way. And you guys have been great supporters from day one for everything. And we love you both, and we love you all. And life is good. So,
life is good.
yeah. If anybody needs a friend, call me. So.
Exactly. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today. I hope this story resonated and gave you something to reflect on. If it did, please share it with someone you care about, and be sure to subscribe so you can continue to hear more pivotal stories involving one question, one turning point, one powerful story. Join me next week with another guest on the Leslie Hawkins podcast.